The premium bonus event is one of the best events you can use to your advantage right now on World of Tanks console. It will allow you to grind through countless tech trees, and Wargaming have introduced it as a new kind of challenge and event that you can use. And the key thing about it is that you can essentially get 150% more silver, 150% more XP, and that will allow you to grind through the tech trees that are available on the previous bonus event. Like right now we have the Progetto M40 Mod 65 tech tree, which is the Italian medium tank line that is available to be able to get that bonuses, which are, as talked about, the 150%, well, effectively 50% more silver and 50% more XP. And then if you combine that with the fact that the Progetto line also has some bonuses where you can get an extra, I think it's 25% XP because they're on track at the moment as well. So it's like a 75% bonus to your XP within the game right now. Plus you get like bonuses, well, discounts on the silver required to purchase the next tank. So effectively, if you want to grind through the Italian medium tank line, there has been no better time than right now. And not only have we got the Italian medium tank line, but you've also got the UK British, well, the British light tanks within the game, and we've also got the T110E5 line also getting the bonus where you get the 50% more XP and silver. So effectively it's the standard B, well, the Progetto line, the Manticore and the E5, which will all be getting this bonus right now within the game, so you can take advantage of it right now as well. So what does this event and why is it so good? Well, the key thing about it is that, yes, of course, it doesn't take a brain box to realise that 50% more XP is always good, but when you combine the 50% more XP, you have XP boosts, and you have all of the events that are going on right now, and if you're lucky enough to have completed the season as well during the events, and this isn't limited right now to just these tanks that are available, because Wargaming will be kind of shifting around the premium bonus where there will be multiple different tech trees that are in the premium bonus events as it goes through. We've already had plenty. I think we had the T110E4 line and stuff like that that were already in the game. And so I'm sure we'll be seeing many more different tech tree lines that are getting this bonus. But the key thing being is that you can effectively get just insane amounts of silver, you can get insane amounts of XP, and it means that ultimately you don't have to spend very much money on purchasing free XP if you're interested in getting just through the tech tree lines, and you also can grind through some of the worst tanks in those tech trees within a very, very minute amount of time, which is always something that I love doing, because no one wants to grind through stock tanks like the Centurion 1 and all of those various different tanks that may be a terrible stock. I think for the lines that we currently have, the tanks that you'll probably want him to be getting through are things like the P43 TER. You'll also be looking at like some of the stock, like the P44 Pantera. When you kind of are stock in that tank, it's not particularly great. And so what I've been managing to do is get nearly 10,000 XP every single game playing in this tank, which means I can unlock the tier 10 in about 20 games, which is insane once I'm fully upgraded, of course. But effectively, if you were just using this as well as using it at the same time as next week, which is another thing that I really want to focus on, is that there will be an event called String Theory that is coming out next week. And if you combine the String Theory with this event, with the premium bonus, with any of the season pass bonuses as well, and you whack in maybe things like the what is it called? The XP boosts as well that you can get, like as in the boosters that you can apply in the garage. On top of all of that, it will be unbelievable the amounts of silver that you will be able to make. It will be unbelievable the amounts of XP that you'll be able to make. And so maybe I'll do a video where we see if we can get the most amount of XP possible in one singular game. And I wouldn't be surprised if you're able to pick up nearly like 20 or 30,000 XP in one singular game if you manage to use the String Theory, get 5 wins in a row, and also have the times 5 XP boost with this boost as well. And that is where I think most people maybe aren't playing necessarily smart. They might be playing really well, doing really well, but not realising that these events, if you combine them all together and use them in cohesion with one another, you can earn an insane amount of XP. And that is the key thing of this video. Of course, we've still got some good gameplays in the background that I want to showcase on the Standard B, so we'll do like a short video focusing on both the event and how you can maximize it as well, because that's what the next replay in this will be, where we play the Standard B, and how even when you lose you can still make like 100,000 silver and you're able to earn the amount of XP that you are with this tank. And you can see within this game showcasing how much XP we managed to make, because not only do you get the actual XP value in the XP screen, but it doesn't count the 5 times XP bonus. So although it might say that we earned 4,295 XP there, or the vehicle XP 12,000 there, which was just crazy, and also we made 81,000 silver, and it was a fairly like average game, or a game that was like not necessarily the highest tier. So if you can have a replay where you manage to deal 7k or something, which isn't like too far off in a tier 9 tank, then you could have some unbelievable amounts of XP. And let's jump into the next replay here. So jumping into steps, we are of course playing once again in the Standard B, but this game is something slightly different, because I'm going to showcase that even when you lose you can earn way more XP than when you win, when not using the premium bonus event and all of the extras that you have in the game. So what do I mean by that? Well, effectively, because you've got these bonuses, that when you have the loss in the usual game mode, you actually end up with less XP. But because of this event, because of the boost that you get of 50% more silver and 50% more XP, you can end up actually making the same amount as when you were to win in the previous game where you haven't actually got the boost, which means you can effectively grind through these tech tree lines, playing as if you're winning even when you're losing, and therefore making ridiculous amounts of XP on top of that. But how can you maximize the amount of XP? Well, the key thing is to combine both your damage and assistance damage if possible, and you'll be able to get even more XP. And of course that's pretty standard. If you do more damage or you do more assistance damage and stuff like that, you're going to be able to get more XP, because that's effectively what Wargaming based their kind of stats on. That's how you get your XP and all of the variety of things. But within this game, what you're seeing me doing is actually playing fairly aggressively in terms of we need to get out some damage, and we're going to try and get as much damage as possible in one singular game, because if you can get like a 7k damage game, you can probably effectively get probably like 10,000 XP in one singular game. Remember, we are using times 5 XP boosts, which is something that maybe you guys don't have, but if you've got times 3 XP boosts, I'm sure many of you, if you've been playing for any time, have tons of times 2 XP boosts and all of the variety of boosts that you can get within the game. And if you're not even going for just pure XP, and you're going for Commander XP, or you're going for other forms of XP, this works as well, because when you get more XP, you also get more Commander XP, because your Commander XP is a factor of the amount of XP that you get within the game. So if you combine them all together and use it to your advantage, you'll be able to get as much XP basically as you want in the game. And if you can win, if you can string games together, and you can get yourself into a position where you're maybe playing with a couple of mates where you can guarantee wins every single day, with the upcoming String Theory event, if you can do that as well, you will be in a very, very solid place, to the point where you are probably going to be able to grind out loads and loads and loads and loads of XP. And ultimately, I hate playing tanks that are terrible. I hate playing stock tanks because they're just worse than the fully upgraded version, obviously. And that is really where I think that this event and these events can help you out massively. And although I have the T110E5, although I have the Manticore, because I don't have the Progetto right now, and I'm probably, by the time of this being uploaded, I will have the Progetto, and there'll be a video coming out on the tier 10 Italian medium fairly soon, and hopefully we can get some good gameplays in that and showcase the tank itself. But granted that this XP is for just the Progetto, the Manticore and the E5 right now, it won't always be, and so make sure that you keep an eye out in the ops tab, because most people, from my personal experience, don't check out the ops as much, and so they're complaining about playing these stock tanks that are terrible, when realistically you should be looking at the operations, deciding, you know what, maybe I don't 100% want to play like the E75 at this current moment in time, but considering that there's an extra 50% more XP and there's an extra 25% more XP, plus I've completed season rank 100, maybe I should just play it right now, grind through the terrible tanks that are within the line, and therefore I don't have to play like 2 times the amount of games in the tanks to be able to get what I want. And playing smart is always something you should be doing on World of Tanks. Don't grind through something for the sake of it. Make sure that you use all of the boosts and advantages that you can within the game so that you don't have to make any mistakes and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I go about it. That's kind of the methodology that I use to avoid having to play like terrible tanks continuously, or playing tanks that I just feel like I wouldn't really necessarily play all of the time. So let's get it out of the way, do it, and then I can focus on other things. And that is really what you guys should be doing as well, because, you know, don't play something that you hate. Don't try and put yourself through something that you despise. Try and maximize the amount of XP, and these events are amazing for that. And I think most people on World of Tanks want to be able to get to tier 10 as quickly as possible throughout the various different tech trees, because ultimately most people's end game is to unlock all of the tier 10s within the game, manage to unlock them all and stuff like that. And I've been playing for like 8 years, and now is no better place to actually grind through tech trees because of all of these bonuses, because of all of the extras that Wargaming have implemented into the game. It means that you can be able to earn so much XP, and that is really where I guess some of the veterans are probably a little bit triggered, because they spent hours and hours and hours just grinding through all of these various different tech tree lines, and it's meant that they haven't been able to maybe get to where they would like to have got as quickly as possible. But we're not going to complain too much because we can effectively use it to my advantage, and we can just use it so that we can kind of go through and earn as much silver as possible and earn as much XP, which means I don't have to play these terrible tanks continuously. Now then, within this game, it's not looking too good. We've got a full health Concept 1B, well, nearly a full health Concept 1B that's decided he's going to YOLO into us, which, to be honest with him, I'm not going to lie, if I was in his scenario, I probably would as well, but he does get a bit lucky in high rolling me to take me out in one single shot. I was hoping I could get another 2 into him before we got taken out, but we don't manage to do that. But 5,190 damage, skipping forward now to the end of the game, because we do end up actually losing this game, which was very, very disappointing. And the close defeat here coming up. The Concept 1B on the enemy team managing to have an amazing game, but we still had a great game as well. And you can see that we still, on a loss, picked up 8,436 XP for a loss. That's really, really amazing, and just showcases exactly what I meant by this whole entire video, where grinding through these tanks, using these events, and using string theory and everything like that will help you get through some of those tough times where you're grinding through terrible tanks and stuff like that. So take advantage of it. Of course, if you have any opinions, if you have anything that you would have altered about the kind of regime, the setup, and what you should be doing to kind of grind through these terrible tanks, or tanks that maybe you don't like. Now, I'm not saying the Standard B is a terrible tank, but, you know, tech tree tanks that are terrible, you can grind through a lot faster. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Of course, if you want to check out the new Season Pass tanks that include the Leopard 1A1, which will be on the left, which is an amazing Cold War tank that will grind you out tons and tons of silver, like 400,000 plus silver per game with the ×2 silver boost. And also on the right we have the World War II Premium Ultra Pass tank as well in the Lioness. So check out both of those reviews, see what you think, and of course let me know in the comment section down below if you've picked up either of those, and I hope that you join me in one of those videos. Goodbye.